It doesn't look like much, does it? It's pretty good. Whoa. So, you know, at the end of the last video, I said, oh, I'm going to stay in the coastal mountains. I'm not going to go that far. It turns out that was a lie. I am almost to Pemberton now, which is a good way into the middle of the coastal mountains. I went through Whistler. Whistler's all right. It's nice. Very touristy, very polished. I overpaid for groceries there. I don't know why I bought. I shouldn't have done that. That was a dumb move. I shouldn't have bought groceries in a tourist town, right? But when you run out of stuff, you run out of stuff. I've spent the majority of my afternoon continuing work on the electrical system because currently there is no way of charging the battery. So that really has to stop or start. That really, so I you know, that's pretty high on the list of needs. I've got 200 watts of solar panels sitting on the back seat of the truck, and it's doing nothing for me. I'm looking at all of these rays of sunshine hitting me, and I'm like, thank you, nuclear fusion going on at local star, producing all of this energy that I'm not currently using. I say that's a lie. I mean, it's making homeostasis easier right now. So, you know, that's nice. Anyway, moral of the story is I gotta get that battery charger rigged up to either the solar or the truck's alternator. That is a priority. Now, something I said at the end of the last video that was in fact true was that some of the appliances weren't working. It was my own fault doing the rewiring. But a couple of days ago, I stopped and it was just a polarity issue with the 12 volt. But yeah, here's some hurried footage of me in the snow trying to fix that. Hey. So it turns out that snow that you saw at the end of the last video was but a portent for more snow. But I don't have the luxury of sitting around on my backside because it rains/snows. There is work to be done. This is where the old battery used to sit. You'll notice there is no battery. It no longer occupies extension in space because I rewired the new one from the other side. But there's been all kinds of issues as a result of this with the grounding and polarity. So today, in the snow and the rain, I am going to be getting a proper dig in here, possibly reversing some of these wires and seeing if that brings some things back to life. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very pleased to report that from a little bit of rewiring jiggery-pokery, I have revived the tank sensors. They're back and happy. The old heater is now working perfectly again, right? But I still don't know what's up with the fridge. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. And I'm going to need to rewire the lights again. Ahoy! Yo, another truck camper. That's cool. Actually, now I'm getting up here and taking a look at the roof. It's still a little bit damp. It's going to be cold and damp for the next few days, so any sealant that I put mounting the solar panels on probably won't do very well. Yep, the alternator is going to do a much better job of charging my battery than solar will for the foreseeable. That pretty much solves that one, doesn't it? This thing is going to become a travelling, off-grid, absolute unit. But the elbow grease still has to go into it. We will succeed. We will succeed. Oh, look at that! Look at that! I really hope I captured that. Well, That'll make a sick transition. Let's get traveling. Having climbed down out of the mountains, we've reached Lillooet. Lovely little town. From Lillooet, we have headed yet further south still, and we are now near the town of Lytton. But the thing that I'm really here for is this. We are to race the roaring Fraser to the sea. From Lytton all the way back to Vancouver. Well, from Lillooet all the way back to Vancouver. The drive is magnificent, absolutely magnificent. And the truck, let's just say that turbo is really coming in handy on these hills. It's really it's not skipping a beat, this thing. I tell you what, a reversing camera was one of the absolute best decisions I made installing into this truck. We're headed into a really strong southerly wind right now, so the truck is fighting that, but again, doing fine. I mean, you hear that? Jeezy crazy. 90 km/h gusts, 90 km. But this little loop that I've done up to Lillooet, back, big circle, has been a fantastic, like, breaking in of the truck. Just over the span of like a week that I've done this, I feel like I understand how much battery, water, how long all that stuff is going to last. I mean, there's still work to do. There's still a lot of preps that aren't in the camper or the truck that need to be. But I'm starting to feel like I know this vehicle. I know the rig, and I'm starting to get it now. And I'm starting to understand Canada a bit better. I'm starting to understand, you know, where you can find things and, you know, how stuff works. Whoa, look at that. That's the remains of a forest fire if I've ever seen one. But yeah, let's keep going. Welcome to probably home for the next couple of days at least. I did the Coquilla Highway. Coquilla? I don't know. I drove in on that. Right now we're fitting conduit protector. That's what this is. This what is power cable that will attach to starter battery on the truck and then it's going to run all the way through here, held up on some cables, where it plugs in here, and then it goes into the battery, which is about here. It needs to be removable, hence the socket I put on it, and it's going to be carrying probably at least 40 or 50 amps of current from the battery. I'm driving a lot more than it is sunny right now, and this will produce a lot more power generally than the solar will. The solar will be really useful for an event like this when it's quite sunny and I'm staying in the same place for a few days, but definitely not this side of the spring equinox. Oh, the fridge works again. Hallelujah, the fridge works again. I didn't fix it, I had to get it fixed, so I took it's a bit of an L on cost and the DIY-ness of myself, but you know, when you beat, right? Plus it's gas and you don't mess with gas, all right? Might be a bit difficult, but if I can get this rigged in the next day or two, that'll be fab. I've still got a couple of hours of daylight here at least. It is meant to rain here tonight, but tomorrow is a clear night and the new moon is now upon us. So chances for astronomical observations are high, so that keeps spirits up as well. Union flag is battered already. Is that art? I couldn't buy just like one good one. The only one I could find anywhere online or in shops or anything were these completely crap ones. Like I would have paid a bit more for like an embroidered one that was about this size. But anyway, I got these crap ones and now I'm paying for it. But the thing is, and this is where I think it's art, is because when they die, when it gets really tattered, I'll just take this one off and put a new one on. And don't know, there's poetry, that's satire of something, I don't know. That's the kind of absolute, like, nothing liberal, middle-of-the-road satire that offends absolutely nobody. Back in my day, the flags weren't crap and you didn't have to buy 12 of them, you could just buy one good one. Oh my God. Joe, it's times like this I think about, like, Aristotle's skill analogy, and he says, like, do you know, being a good person is just like fixing your truck with power to the alternator. He says that. It's just a skill, you just got to get good. He is right though. Big up the skill analogy, people keep reinventing it. Reference. That is a 12-volt output, which is new, and will be powering the telescope extension cable hopefully tomorrow night. And then you can see behind here, it's all the diesel heater gubbins. Blimey, I've done a lot to this already actually, now I'm looking at it. But yeah, this one's going to do well. A lot of power, a lot of amps going to be going into this bad boy. Whoa, yeah, calm down. Naming suggestions open for Tiny Capybara. Naming suggestions open. Be a big up Katie for getting that. He's seeing the world. Can't believe it. So now I have the unenviable task of removing the old battery clamps so that I can put new ones on. Oh, okay, that wasn't too bad actually. I thought that was going to be really bad, but they're not actually that corroded, if we're honest. Oh, you're going to be a bastard, aren't you? Oh. It's a beaver! I just heard him jump in the water just behind me. Heard this big plop. And initially I thought he was a log. And then I realised logs don't have ears. Wonder where he's going. Back to his house, I reckon. This is a beaver's paradise here. You can't deny that. Just back from another Hard day grinding away at the log. It's a beautiful spot though, I've got to say. It might be my favourite yet. I'm pretty much dead in the centre between Kamloops and Hope. Oh, that's going to sound so nice. I wish it wasn't going to be so cold tomorrow night when hopefully the sky's clear. It's a price worth paying, because I'd love to open the window and listen to that. Maybe I will a bit. It will be freezing cold. Beaver part 2, let's see where he goes. Oh, he's so cute. Oh. Is this him? Is this his stop? Oh, it was his stop. Then he was gone. I guess that's makes sense that he went into that giant pile of logs. Honestly, the landscape is so varied. You go from these beautiful rainforests, and then you can go like up into snowy, craggy mountains, and then you can be in this sort of really quite dry terrain. I'm keen to see the foothills of the Rockies. I don't know if I'll go that far. I might. It's hard to resist. Good morning. So, quite fortunately, Merritt, it was actually a little bit bigger of a place than I thought it would be, and it had a massive Canadian tyre, so I got exactly the fuses I needed. So, I have rigged up the alternator charger. I've got the app connected to the charger inside the camper. Oh, it's increasing slowly, 12 volts. There you go, charging. So obviously there's no solar going on at the moment, but just idling, it's giving me about 16 amps, which is really great, really solid. And then if I rev the engine, hey, look at that, 34 amps there. So about 1500 revs. Now, all that diesel that we're ploughing into the truck is of dual purpose, and we will be able to go further for longer. Brilliant. This is going to make a big difference. I can also go into the app for the battery itself. And this is telling me charging. Yeah, and again, about 15, 16 amps going in. Fantastic. The alternator charger great success. About an hour of driving gave me about 10% on the battery. Solar panels are the next job. Here we go, you see them here. But 200 watts of solar and a 50 amp DC to DC charger should keep me pretty comfy for a while. Assuming I keep moving and the equinox has passed now, so we should get a bit more sunshine, this should work perfectly. Okay, do not drop this jack. This is a very difficult piece of equipment to replace. That little red light there tells us that it is charging. Fantastic news. Well folks, we now have alternator power and solar power. Huge wins. I've come out for a golden hour hike. It is about 5:30, because it's been a big day. I mean, in one day, I've connected the solar power and the alternator charger. Now, obviously, it wasn't one day of work, but now it's actually in there, right? God, you know, I think I'm in love with the Okanagan. It's just stunning out here. I mean, it technically does become a desert in the southern areas. No one thinks British Columbia's got any deserts, but it does. BC is so beautiful though. And seemingly endless as well. Like, you know, I've driven quite a few hours now. I mean, one way we could calculate this is there's the amount of kilometres I've driven the truck so far. So that is a scale at least. For anyone asking, I will not be giving any units in Imperial. It's a dumb system, it doesn't work. Although, it is very British that these guys have also not fully committed to either Imperial or the metric system. But it's the reverse of Britain, insofar as in Britain, the roads are in miles, but if you go into most shops or packaging and stuff, that will be in metric. Whereas here, it seems to be the other way round. Like, if I go to a hardware store and I want to buy screws or bolts or something, it's all in inches. It's like 1/2 inch, 3 1/1,000,000th of an inch, or who the hell knows, stupid system, right? But all of the roads are kilometres. So, but it's a Britishism not fully committing to one or the other. I'll definitely give British Columbia that. A beautiful, beautiful day has descended upon this hillside in the Okanagan that I now occupy. What's that all about? Look how that's split. What the hell is going on here? There's like this really curious... I've just realised in processing this firewood here that there's this really curious kind of exceedingly dry rot that you just don't get in Britain here, right? Like this is rotten because how could this have split like that from 2 strikes, right? Rot is the only real answer, but it's so dry here that it just rots in a very bizarre way and it's quite hard to spot. I'm sure it'll burn fine. I don't even really need to do this. There's tons of kindling around. I'm doing it because I like doing it. Well, it's about that time of video again, where we get to summing up, I think. What a great spot. Beautiful, beautiful spot. Oh. If you're wondering, the fire ring was here before me, I just added some more rocks to it. It feels difficult to round this one off and finish it, because in a way I still am just getting started, right? I confidently understand how long each of my systems can last off-grid. I'm starting to feel less anxious. I mean, not that any of this has been defined by anxiety, but certainly the first month was like, new country, gotta just survive, right? But now that I know that I can functionally be fine, which I did anticipate, like I'd done my research, but the lived experience, the reassurance of lived experience is something that can't be replaced by any guidebook. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong, there's still a lot to learn. Both about Canada and about this lifestyle, obviously. Another thing is that, like, the summer hasn't started at all. Like, if spring has barely started, so quite a lot of stuff is closed as a result of that. So I do feel like I have started on hard mode a little bit. I think I'm starting to trust
the truck camper as well, in a weird way, you know? Like, when you get a new vehicle, you always got to, you know, run it for a few miles before you're like, oh yeah, okay, this thing is fine. Especially with something as big and as high risk as it being my entire home. That's what the next couple of months are going to be marked by. A little bit of work, hopefully, you know, pump up the coffers a bit. And then in between the bits of work that I get, stabbing out into the wilderness, you know, learning really the limits of the vehicle. It seems silly, but something that I'd taken with me from home was a little bit of fatwood from the New Forest in England. Fatwood is just very resinous pine. This is some I collected literally over there. It's what I used to start the campfire. I just took the tiniest little shard of it with me, just as a little memento, and I thought, oh, it'll be fun if at some point I start a fire with that. Sometime while I was still living in Vancouver, I remember I took the truck camper out, just for like, you know, a night or something, to celebrate the purchase. And that's how I started the fire that night, with that New Forest fatwood. This one, this is British Columbia fatwood. This is not imported fatwood, this is me going off of the steam of being here now. And there's a little bit of symbolism in that. The first month on the road has definitely been a month of ups and downs, because it is such a steep learning curve. And I think that's a little bit indicative of living nomadically full stop. Is you get this amazing joy of like, what am I going to find next? What's the next thing? And you just keep moving, and that's amazing, and it's so much fun and explorative. But there's still an anxiety in there of like, well, I do need to like care for my basic essentials of like, you know, water and heat and stuff like that. And you know, mistakes have been made, and things have been broken and fixed again already. But now, I feel like throughout all of those ups and downs of this first month, I am treading water quite comfortably now, if you know what I mean. I think I'm going to sit here with this fire tonight and just think about where I'm going next. Thank you very, very much for joining along with me on this one. Who knows where the road will take me, eh?